That was Keith Sweat, Don't Stop Your Love. So, of course, yesterday we were made aware that there was an assassination of the leader of Haiti, along with his wife, who was injured in the attack. And certainly we are praying for her. It would have been a time where America would have looked at an attack like that and lamented and been glad for the democracy that we have here. Armed vandals, armed militants stormed his home, killed him, shot his wife. It was a military opposition. There were some mercenaries involved. Later on, the protection agency, the military police of Haiti, shot it out with them, killing a few and arresting the others. And it used to be a time in America where that would seem commonplace. But we are we're not able to look away now. We're not able to pretend like that is a distant memory, because the idea of democracy in America has been under assault and has been, over the last few years, but particularly January 6th. The difference between what happened in Haiti and what happened here is that the Haitians fought. They were successful, but then the security teams fought the militants and arrested some and killed some. Here, those militants went home. Those militants are, even the ones that are in jail, are getting vegan meals and getting to go on vacation. Some of the people who inspired the potential overthrow of the government, which is exactly what it was, an assassination of political leaders, now sit in the halls of governance. Some are in the Congress, some are in the Senate. Some are voting on the future of America right now. As a matter of fact, some of those very people voted that the person who had instigated the riot, the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, wasn't guilty at all, that he shouldn't be impeached. It is almost like committing a bank robbery, being involved in it, and then sitting on the jury and exonerating yourself. So Haiti, yes, they had upheaval. Yes, they had a political opposition that spiraled out into violence, but that is no different than what happened here. Even as a result of that, people are not even wanting to look back in the rearview mirror and decide what had gone wrong. Our democracy is in such a fragile place that nobody knows where to go. And the best way to go is to look at what happened and decide who needs to be punished and what we need to do to move on. Haiti had an attack, and it would have been a time where that was seen so foreign to us that it would have been noteworthy. But now it's not. It visited our shores, only it wasn't successful. People out in front of the very halls of the very halls of our governance yelling, "Hang Mike Pence, our former vice president," and trying to get in and murder anybody they could. They put gallows on the front lawn. They murdered a police officer. 5 people were murdered that day. So we can't look at Haiti and say, "Ooh, how could that happen?" We see how it could happen. They believe that the president that was assassinated, according to some, was an authoritarian leader, and some here believe that Donald Trump was one. Some were willing to do whatever they had to make sure that he stayed in office. Haiti's attack was a surprise. Ours built over the course of months and months, over Facebook and Instagram and conversations over the loudspeaker on Fox News and other places that inspired people to have an uprising against the government. That's exactly what it was. They sought to stop the government, that there was the newly elected government, from taking office. They sought from having to stop them from being certified. There would have been a time when we looked at other countries and went, "Wow, we're glad we live in America. That can't happen here." But our democracy is just as fragile as theirs. Our democracy is just in as much upheaval as theirs. Only the people now, it's interesting, where they shot people and put them in jail, those same people still have a hand in the future of the United States of America. They are senators from Texas and Missouri. They are congressmen from Georgia and Colorado and Arizona. And yet they still sit in the halls of Senate, in the halls of governance. They still sit and help to decide this nation's future. They still get to decide how far we look back. So yes, Haiti was a terrible situation, and the world is called to find out what happened. We won't even find out what happened here. So when I hear people poo-pooing what happened in Haiti and looking down their nose at what happened in Haiti, it's a really stark truth. Those who live in fragile democracies, those who live in glass democracies, cannot afford to throw stones. That's a little note from the GED section. We've got a jazz report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.